The eighth season of our topic would soon air in the United States via Fox Television Network and get streamed on Hulu, both networks that are not airing in the Philippines. Not that we don't have the franchise brought to the Philippines through TV5, but I managed to watch season 7 of the US franchise in full. Maybe not my favorite version of this franchise, but still worth watching for the entertainment. For a program that has the word singer in its title, it is ironic that some contestants included TV presenters, athletes, and inevitably reality TV personalities. It's like another program for celebrities from Dancing with the Stars to join after losing the competition. I don't take credit for that research, I just found that on Reddit. I have yet to verify if any of these winners from previous seasons joined the other program too. Like, have they won in Dancing with the Stars and then they decided to join Masked Singer US as well? There is a caveat though. They have to perform while masked. For episode 9 of season 3 of Untold Legends, we present to you Masked Singer. Disclaimer though, I cannot cover all the issues, complaints, and controversies about Masked Singer, the franchise, due to time constraints. I expect some fans of this unique singing competition to complain about that, so at least this early in the episode, I get to set your expectations. Masked Singer originated in South Korea by Munhwa Broadcasting Corporation with a format far different from what we are familiar with, or at least far from what most Westerners are familiar with. Wikipedia has compiled the references for the South Korean version with the links at the bottom. Of course, they're in Korean, but the gist of it all is that the show was originally titled as The King of Masked Singer and spans only not seasons but by clusters of episodes. Also, despite the title being King of Masked Singer, both men and women are included in the show. So the format displayed on Wikipedia reminds me of the old school singing competitions here in the Philippines, where the consecutive episodes feature a weekly champion that faces new challengers. The similarities end there because, as displayed in the table of challengers and champions, some contestants won more than once, with the highest number of wins clocked at 9 by Ha Junwo, lead vocalist of the Korean rock band Gokastan. He sounds like a Korean Adam Lambert the last time I checked out his performances on YouTube. Quoting also the same Wikipedia page, the format goes like this. Singers are competing one-on-one in 3 elimination rounds. They are given elaborate masks which are made by designer Hwang Jae-gyun and gloves to wear in order to conceal their identity, thus removing factors such as popularity, career, and age that could lead to prejudiced voting. In the first round, both contestants sing the same song, while in the second and third round, they each sing a solo song. The winners of each pair are selected by the audience and panel of celebrities through instant live votes. The identities of the singers are not revealed until they have been eliminated. The winner of the third round challenges the previous competition's Mask King and is either eliminated or becomes the new Mask King. Unquote. Yes, it sounds like going through rounds in a single game before meeting the final boss. And this is a format I'm familiar with Tawag ng Tanghalan, with the weekly winners being challenged by consecutive winners in the following weeks, if they can manage to do it more than once. In other franchises that I am aware of, the closest that a contestant can get to a repeat win was joining a different franchise altogether. It's a chance, not a win itself. But with a format that tends to highlight more of the talent, allegedly, and with all of the bands that the K-pop industry has produced since the early 90s, the King of Masked Singer can afford to stick to an almost exclusively singer lineup. I see more contestants from K-pop girl groups that I'm not aware of. There would be a musical actor or actress that may be occasionally challenging the champion for that week, but that's it. So by the time I have started watching the US version of Masked Singer, I am not surprised that they would use the name and go with the American Idol format anyway. And each season has a different number of contestants. Most viewers only get to know how many contestants are there in a season the moment the wild card entries are announced, whether it is a countermeasure against the dirt sheets or YouTube content creators that claim to know insider information. It helped in spicing up the competition. The wildcards, according to Singer Fandom Wiki as a concept, debuted in season 5. The wild card that went the farthest, almost final episode was Yeti. Yeti was then unmasked as R&B performer Omarion. The wild cards from season 6 were to an extent polarizing, but once they got unmasked, it's as if the masked format opened an opportunity for a non-singer like Beach Ball to get into the competition despite being tone deaf. Beach Ball was then unmasked as Mama June and Honey Boo Boo. Beach Ball may not be the first sign of the weakness of the concept singing under masks, under the US format, that is. But it's definitely not the last. I still consider Raccoon as the worst contestant in Masked Singer US history. He was then unmasked as Danny Trejo. Yes, that Danny Trejo you saw in the film Machete. That Danny Trejo. Feel free to post in the comments if you think there are far worse singers than Raccoon. There are optimists that view the Masked Singer as an opportunity for other celebrities that they can sing and only got the opportunity to get cheered on by a live audience because if the performance is good, the crowd will still cheer you on. And there are viewers that can immediately recognize voices based on nostalgia. Not that these singers don't get any other gigs anymore. It's just that while some of them still tour across the nation, at least in the US, last time I checked, they don't appear that often anymore on mainstream TV. Technically, they don't appear on Masked Singer until they get unmasked. One case about finding joy in performing again is Frog. He is one contestant I would rather label as the masked rapper because that's the bulk of his performances in season 3. Even his cover of Imagine Dragons' Whatever It Takes is not sung but rapped. Not complaining. It was a risk that paid off, in my opinion. He was the second runner up in season 3 and got unmasked as the rapper Bow Wow. There are performers that got cast on Masked Singer that made them realize that tweaking their appearances would make their performances more interesting. Russian dolls started singing, and soon some fans of 90s music recognized them despite singing just covers from Bruno Mars' 24 Magic, Lady Gaga's Shallow, and Elton John's I'm Still Standing. They admitted realizing this upon getting unmasked as Hanson, the first group to join Masked Singer together. Oh yes, there is still a market for 90s celebrities, particularly those who made it big in new music. While season 5 was when a whole 90s band got cast in Masked Singer, it was in season 4 that they realized that there is still an audience for personalities from 90s music, especially if they can recognize the voice. Enter Crocodile, the most glamorous reptile I've seen used as a mask in the program. Not everyone can immediately recognize his voice the moment he performed the cover of Britney Spears' Toxic. His repertoire consisted more of rock songs from Bon Jovi's It's My Life, Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, and Journey's Open Arms. Turns out that the mask itself is the biggest clue. Crocodile is native to Florida. So once he got unmasked, it made sense. It's Nick Carter of the Backstreet Boys winning second runner-up on season 4 of The Masked Singer. The 90s trend continued over to season 5 with performers like Orca, Crab, Russian Dolls, Yeti, and Piglet eventually got revealed as recording artists that rose to fame back in the 90s. Orca was the first wildcard entry that got unmasked as Mark McGrath of the pop rock band Sugar Ray. Crab got unmasked as Whitney Houston's ex-husband Bobby Brown. We already mentioned the Russian Dolls in Yeti, and Piglet, who ended up winning season 5 of The Masked Singer, was then unmasked as Nick Lachey of 98 Degrees. Winners, some voices end up getting found out, especially when there is less effort to hide the voice. The guessing game gets harder whenever non-professional singers get cast as well. I mentioned non-professional not because of the sound of their voice, but also because they are not even pretending to be good singers at all. They just find comfort in singing in a mask and entertaining a crowd. In the US version of Mosque Singer, the first thing that comes to mind is White Tiger. Not that great of a singer, but not as tone deaf as either Raccoon or Beach Ball. Also, he danced around the area as if he'd never get busted. Maybe he's just making the most out of his masked singing time. He really let himself go the moment he started singing I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. He may not be out to win it, but he had a lot of fun. So when he got eliminated, he was unmasked as NFL player Rob Gronkowski. He then somewhat admitted to the panel that the first folks to figure out his identity were his fellow NFL players. Another contestant that obviously made the most out of their time on The Masked Singer was Lips. Not a fan of her singing. I know this comment will bite me in the ass once I reveal later who it is. But non professional singers often get included to make the guessing game more challenging to the panel. There is a clue package displayed before every performance anyway. So if the panel can't guess her voice, they would guess her identity. Two of the panelists guessed her correctly based on clues provided. It's shock jock Wendy Williams. Or should I say talk show host? You decide. Not sure if I can discuss her current situation soon, since the updates I see online about Wendy Williams seem incomplete. Who knows if I can make some time to cover her soon. Now, there are singers I can't conclude as non professional singers because they sounded good on the show, but they are not recording artists. I apologize this early in this episode if I didn't know which artists have a musical theater background or just sing for kicks whenever they are free to do it. Like in a live stream where singing and dancing becomes a natural reaction for positive emotions. IceCream performed 2 songs on The Masked Singer. Both of them are chill, pun intended, songs, Old Town Road and Whip It. Yes, Whip It is a chill song for me. Both songs got the panelists and the crowd dancing. IceCream also dished a few dance moves. One of them turned out to be a clue. Once he got eliminated, he got unmasked as Tyler Blevins, better known by his gaming streaming username, Ninja. Another non professional singer that earned new fans for smooth singing is Thingamajig. I admit that I'm not a fan of the way some masks are named in the US version of The Masked Singer, but maybe they can think of a name for this somewhat dapper costume. He doesn't belt out the high notes, but he doesn't need to do that when singing covers of Easy like Sunday Morning and Rainbow. Soon he got unmasked as NBA player Victor Oladipo of the Indiana Pacers. If I have a favorite among these surprising singers in the Masked Singer US version, it's Thingamabob. Yes, another name that starts with the name Thing. Must have been an American thing. It's possibly the best way to debut as a masked singer in this franchise by singing a cover of Bon Jovi's Wanted Dead or Alive. The only other song that I could think of that is better than this is his cover of Ed Sheeran's Perfect, a song where he went somewhat emotional. I had no idea about the voice, but while masked, Thingamabob mentioned that he'd like his voice to be his biggest clue. This could have meant that he has sung online before, even if he doesn't do it as often as he'd like. Prior to getting unmasked, until the end, nobody guessed his identity right. Jenny McCarthy actually guessed him as Chris Jericho. To think that he's way taller than Nick Cannon. He then got unmasked as Philadelphia Eagles left tackle Jordan Mailata. I'm clueless to American football jargon, but that's what host Nick Cannon referred him to. Could this format be subject to shenanigans? Of course, and I don't mean the instances where deserving competitors like Thingamabob get eliminated too early. Remember that this is the Mosque Singer. Some folks are realizing the potential of this format to revive careers of celebrities that other PR firms may have already given up on. Some celebrities can sing, but due to a notorious reputation, the moment some folks are updated that they are performing at a certain TV event and the notoriety hasn't died down yet, expect the ratings to go down. The ratings scare happened at Mask Singer too. Leaks about the identity of the contestant, Jack in the Box, got published online. Then he performed Bad to the Bone midway in season 7. The panelists enjoyed it despite the costume being stuck in a single spot due to how the mask was presented in the show. It was all fun and games until the unmasking. It's former New York City mayor and former personal attorney to Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani. The leaks that got published more than a week before this episode got aired already affected the ratings on Masked Singer Season 7, as if they are avoiding to watch that season of The Masked Singer if only they would end up seeing Giuliani unmasked. Obviously, they don't expect him to last more than one performance, so once Jack in the Box got unmasked, ratings worsened according to Variety.com. The Masked Singer falls to season low viewership with controversial Rudy Giuliani unmasking. I would be just reading some excerpts from this article since we already know how bad the ratings have gotten, but at least they managed to display here how the show's installment with the former mayor of New York City got a zero point 0.6 demo rating and a 3.6 million total viewers according to Fast Affiliate Nielsen data. Viewership for season 7 has been in flux since its March 9 premiere, with the Fox Celebrity Singing Competition drawing a season high of 4.3 million viewers on March 30, only to reach a season low of 3.9 million last Wednesday, which was beat by last night's new low. Last night meaning the night that the episode was aired. It was eventually, well, easily, according to Variety, easily bested by its time slot competition, CBS Survivor, and NBC's Chicago Med in audience size. I'm not familiar with Chicago Med Survivor, not surprising if it beats Masked Singer in ratings. The episode that people outside the US like me have seen, where the episode where two panelists, Jenny McCarthy and Nicole Scherzinger, are seen dancing along to Giuliani's post-mask performance. At least some of them ended up getting leaked online as well. I'm referring to the clip where Ken Jeong walked out of the panel in some random YouTube videos. Rumor has it that even Robin Thicke walked out of the panel around the same time as Ken Jeong, but no footage came out of it. So the part about the walkouts were confirmed by Salon.com. In the article entitled The Masked Singer Episode Unmasking Rudy Giuliani Sees Viewership Drop to All-Time Lows, they eventually mentioned here, it's still unclear why the Masked Singer decided to feature Giuliani, who is both a self-declared anti-masker, what an irony, and a political figure embroiled in plenty of scandal. Most likely it was a ratings ploy, but clearly the unpopular and divisive stunt did not boost the show's viewership. Such decisions probably won't help the show in the long run either, as its ratings continue to follow a downward trend. The show already made a similar mistake in May 2020 when it showcased guest star Sarah Palin, who revealed herself as the masked cotton candy resembling bear. The politician later attempted to explain her appearance, saying she took part in the show as a walking middle finger to the haters out there. I'm sorry, I can't impersonate her accent. Palin, however, is relatively toothless compared to the harm that Giuliani or Sean Spicer, who was a contestant on Dancing with the Stars, perpetrated as part of the former administration's lackeys. During Wednesday's episode, Giuliani was dressed as the Jack in the Box and sang Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood and the Destroyers. His unveiling later prompted judges Ken Jeong and Robert Thicke to exit the stage, albeit briefly. With all the controversy that's surrounding you right now, I think it surprises us all that you're here on The Masked Singer, said host Nick Cannon. Giuliani simply replied, Me too. Giuliani then said the reason why he agreed to be on The Masked Singer was because he wanted to set as an example for his granddaughter, Grace. I'm not buying that for 1 second. We all know that this is an attempt to save whatever is left of Giuliani's reputation. Well, he's a politician after all. Um, the same walkout was also mentioned by late night show host Stephen Colbert way back in February 2022. The episode that unmasked Giuliani got aired mid-April of 2022. Colbert even exclaimed, I can't believe The Masked Singer has had 7 seasons. Can't blame the guy. In America, it became a joke that reached levels of being unfunny. Not that I wanted Masked Singer gone from US television. They're still doing good so far. It's still a good joke. I believe it still had a good run. It can have a good run again. Although I have low expectations for season 8, not gonna lie. Meanwhile, Masked Singer Thailand came up with 10 seasons and I am limited to watching snippets of the best performances on YouTube. Also, I have a little trouble finding the names, or at least the names of the masks that performed on Masked Singer Thailand, because they have a different font when writing the episode titles or the names of the performances. Anyway, on back on the late night show circuit, other late night show hosts chimed in their opinion about Giuliani's stunt and it was compiled in New York Times. It even made other viewers think, there's a show like this? Yes, there's a show like this, except that it's treated really differently in the US. In the article entitled Late Night Rips Rudy Giuliani's Masked Singer Appearance, Jimmy Kimmel said, the guy who's trying to destroy our country? He's singing on the show. Stephen Colbert actually mentioned this on his show, saying, That's right, the criminal goon that we know for a fact is being investigated for trying to overthrow our democracy for this idiot emperor was yucking it up on reality show. There hasn't been anything this shocking since Lee Harvey Oswald made a guest appearance on Gilligan's Island. Even how come there are too many Jimmy Kimmel's quotes here? Anyway, maybe because the other Jimmy can't afford to make a comment on this as well. Anyway, back to Jimmy Kimmel. How does this happen? I mean, a lot of people at Fox had to sign off on this. Not one of them was like, maybe we shouldn't have the guy who is under investigation for helping to plot an insurrection singing on our show. And then he added later, only Rudy Giuliani would try to overthrow the government, break wind loudly in court, sweat hair dye all over one press conference, have another one next to a dildo store, and then try to rehabilitate his image by singing Shake Your Groove Thing dressed as a pineapple. Maybe Jimmy Kimmel did not see the episode where Pineapple sang and was unmasked as Tommy Chong. Anyway, of course, Trevor Noah had to chime in his opinion as well, even if he's not American. He's South African, but yeah, they let him do his thing. To quote, America is truly, 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 truly the greatest country on earth because this is the only place in the world where entertainment trumps everything. Because a year ago, I mean just a year ago, this guy tried to overthrow America's democracy, and now he's a contestant on a reality show? Is there anyone they won't have on? Like one of these days, a masked singer is going to take off their head, and it's going to be literally the coronavirus. Just in case you're not familiar with that quip about overthrowing America's democracy, they're referring to his participation in the January 6th attack, for lack of a better term. And yeah, Jimmy Kimmel is a favorite on this article by New York Times saying the Fox network should be ashamed of themselves. They should have another show after the Masked Singer that night called The Masked Executives. All the Fox executives come out in costumes. The one who greenlit this idea takes off the mask and gets voted out of television forever. And we are aware of the kind of feud that Jimmy Kimmel has had with Fox Network. Of course, the other comments, again, looks like they got compiled, but not compiled per talk show host. Maybe just randomly compiled here. Okay, reading another batch here from Stephen Colbert. Now, if you're not familiar with The Masked Singer, congratulations! And then from Trevor Noah, once again, Rudy Giuliani ruins the day by showing people his face. From Stephen Colbert, Rudy's episode has not aired yet, so we don't know much beyond that. Fox isn't revealing what his swan song was or which animal costume Rudy wore, although it was safe to assume he was a jackass. Unquote. He's a little close when it comes to guessing that, at least. And then again from Jimmy Kimmel. Why would Rudy even agree to this? Did he think he was going to the Masked Singer landscaping company? Hmm, I don't think I get that joke. And then from Stephen Colbert. One of the most chilling phrases in the English language is surprise! It's Rudy Giuliani. Uh, I think I remember watching that part wherein Colbert is referring to that scene from Borat, and everyone is surprised that Rudy Giuliani unfortunately showed his head. That head? No. Jimmy Kimmel also said here the only people who would be unmasking Rudy Giuliani is the gang from Scooby Doo, you know? I think I have to agree. I just think it's impressive that they were able to get a member of the Trump administration to wear a mask in the first place. And that quote is from James Corden. Yeah, pretty brilliant. So, Fox, via its producer, has its regrets. From TVLine.com, Fox has just one regret about Giuliani appearing on The Masked Singer. I'll be skipping to that part here. During a Monday morning upfronts call with reporters, Rob Wade, president of Alternative Entertainment and Specials for Fox, contended The Masked Singer is all about celebrities and jaw dropping moments, which is exactly what the casting accomplished, whether it was on set or with the viewers at home. Pressed for any second thoughts about the casting decision given the resulting hullabaloo, Wade said, I suppose my only regret or surprise was obviously that the reveal was spoiled. End quote. That's the only regret that Wade has over whatever happened here, which is not exactly the kind of response you expect from someone. Yeah, I do understand that they are trying to make it extra challenging for the panelists to guess these performers, but it obviously left a bad taste in the mouth as we may not have seen Robin Thicke walk out of that panel in disgust, but at least Ken Jeong managed to do it, and he didn't care if the. It seems like he didn't care that the clips got leaked of him walking out of the panel. On Reddit, it reached a point where the main question for people who didn't mind Giuliani being on Mask Singer was who could have who could have been worse than Giuliani among the contestants? It can be a challenging question since no other contestant has had a bad reaction as this. I don't think anyone ever walked out from the panel from any of the other contestants so far. Of course, one of the first names that came up on Reddit as answer to this question was Antonio Brown. If you're not into American football like me, it won't mean much. I only learned how bad Brown's reputation is once YouTube content creator Spencer Cornelia covered him. He got involved into some scams, allegedly perpetrated them, and then we have no more updates beyond that. Bobby Brown, of course, if you're a fan of Whitney Houston, you know why his reputation is bad. We already mentioned Sarah Palin since the comparison between Sarah Palin and Rudy Giuliani is inevitable as they are both Republicans. They're both considered as the hardcore conservative Republicans, although Giuliani would like to portray himself as a moderate Republican. Based on some of the documentaries I saw here on YouTube, um, Todd Recall. If you're a fan of Manila Luzon and some parts, well, I think that's the first thing that come to mind because Todd Recall has been accused of not paying well, not paying his dancers, not paying his host, not paying anyone who has worked for him. Yeah, he has that kind of reputation. Um, sorry, I apologize this early if I misgendered Todd Recall. Todd Recall was on Mask Singer as Bull, and I think it didn't help any further that the week after Rudy Giuliani got eliminated, the next person to get unmasked was Baby Mammoth, who ended up becoming Christy Alley. Christy Alley is also one of those sympathizers in the January 6 attacks, although, according to my host or my former co host, JoeDini, there are other issues that Christy Alley has been involved into that made her just as notorious as well. Maybe not as notorious as Rudy Giuliani, but still notorious enough to be considered as one of the infamous unmaskings. I don't find her enjoyable in the program as well. She sang one of Cher's biggest hits, It's in His Kiss. There's a far better version of that song on a Masked Singer, just on a different franchise. That's on Masked Singer UK, and it was performed by Dragon. I think I need another episode or another video to discuss a Masked Singer UK as a whole. I don't get to watch the episodes as well as a whole. I only get to watch snippets per, most of the time, performances per contestant. That's how I get to watch the other franchises as well. So in that case, none of her performances as Baby Mammoth managed to save her from elimination, which is I'm not surprised. She's not that good of a singer, and it came. It reached a point that became a joke that okay, last week Rudy Giuliani got eliminated. This week, Kirstie Alley got eliminated. Okay, who will be eliminated next week? Donald Trump. It's a kind of downer that you end up expecting from season 7. Did the Masked Singer franchise get worse once it hit US TV networks? Not really. I can say that whoever is in charge of the masks got a little too focused on concealing the identity of the performers to the point that whole costumes get conceptualized, tested, and soon fail on live TV. The failures unfortunately got highlighted on season 7, so I guess it's safe to say now that Giuliani is not the reason why season 7 is the worst season of the franchise so far. My initial expectation is that Masked Singer is supposed to focus on talent. The mask is just a tool to make the audience forget who this person is. As one former Masked Singer finalist said, I will be rephrasing, of course, it's about the performance, not the person, not the tabloid fodder associated with the person, not the status in society, just the performance. That is until some franchises start tampering with the auto-tune to avoid sounding worse than Beach Ball. This episode ended up getting shorter than expected, maybe because I ended up focusing on the original version back in South Korea and the US version that trended on the social media platforms for the wrong reasons. Thank you very much for staying until the end. Watch out for our season finale, the phenomenon called Pinoy baiting, only here at season 3 of the Untold Legends podcast. See you!